Uh, Please talk to us about the inspiration behind this beautiful script that you penned, co-penned.
Yes, I wrote this with a friend of mine, and I was in school at the time, and really wanted to try, I wanted to try to push myself, and so I had this idea for a character that was just, everything about myself kind of flipped on its head, and I felt like, if I really wanted a challenge, I want to try to get inside the skin of somebody who's completely different from me, and just see if I could really understand that experience.
And then Asha, when you saw it, please tell us what about this character that made you know you had to play her.
I love that she was a woman, just a strong woman, and no one that was able to kind of go past the love and the hurt to find out what happened. I know I have a lot of experience in my own personal life with having, being close to loved ones and wanting to figure out, about 10 years ago, my sister went missing, and we ended up as a family having to try to figure out what happened. How did we lose her? How did this happen? And it was literally me feeling like a detective, working out timelines and people and places, and being so close to a person, and at the same time having to, see this kind of gruesome part of their lives was really difficult. And so I really felt like I could connect with Bernadette on that level, knowing that, to be strong through the hurt. And I felt like she, as much as she hurt, as much as a sensitive person as she was, she still stayed strong and rose through the fight. And I could definitely connect with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, from the opening sequences of seeing this film for the first time, I knew that we were in for some very sophisticated storytelling. The opening sequence when the women exchange, this slight little look, and we're introduced to the tattoo. Talk about those details in both the crafting of the script and then also, Asha, in the performance.
Start with the script.
Yeah, I mean, we tried really hard to kind of put in the details that, if you ever got a second watch, that you'd see that, that it's all there for you to find, that, it would be, a rewarding experience, for the people who are really, for people who are really watching closely. The key was a big one. It's a combination of two female symbols. There's like a small detail, on the base, and then the thing itself or the neck or whatever is also part of it. And we just really worked hard to build that relationship, in an authentic and a believable way. I've spent a lot of time in the South, and I live there now, and I know people who still are my age that are still carrying on these secret relationships because they feel like they have to. And the kind of recurring theme was that, like, she's like, oh, like, I knew you were friends, like you were friends, and that's that just like the constant reminder is there, and that we really tried to be thoughtful in the way that we portrayed the ways that you don't get to grieve in the same way at a funeral, that the people that are her enemy are standing right there, and but she has to grieve from a distance. And so we just kind of took it, scene by scene, situation by situation, to see like what would the emotional and the physical distance be.
And when she loses her love of her life, she's not able to share that with other people. It's like her secret, and she can't even call out of work and say, I lost my everything. She doesn't have anything to tell them. But when her sister is having, sick and detoxing, thank you, the word is there, she's able to say, like, it's family, and it just shows, like, you can have connections with people that nobody even knows about, and you have to, like, go with social norms to kind of make it fit, which is, really sad, and we're hoping for change, and people will notice that and be like, yeah, why is it that way? That doesn't make sense. Like, if you love someone, you should be able to say, I love this person, and I need your help, or I need a day off, or I need to process this.
Yeah, the kind of recurring reminder of the outside world and the social, familial pressures of the area. We're just like, we wanted that to be like constant. We wanted that to be like a constant reminder.
Yeah, it's very well crafted. And last question I have before I open it to the audience. What was the specialness of the South that you wanted to capture in setting the film where you did? I mean, you didn't do like a major city in the South, right? You purposely picked like a smaller area. Talk about that decision making.
Yeah, I mean, I love working in the country. It takes... it was mostly in and around Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Most of the film was shot in a town called Donaldsonville, Louisiana, and the house where a lot of the film takes place is actually 5 minutes down the road from where my co-writer grew up. So there's like a drunk at a bar. It's like, that's his dad.
It was really cool to be able to stay in Donaldsonville, and when the actress who played my sister, Yatide Badaki, we would be driving to work, and we would make up stories along the way, like, oh, that was our high school, and that's where you first had your first kiss, and we would, we really kind of like were able to submerge ourselves in the town and get that kind of feeling, which was great. And then it showed us everything that it had, because we had one challenge after another between weather and just everything with the film. There was one day where it was raining. We were supposed to do all exteriors, and Miss Adele, who you saw, who played the lovely caretaker of the mansion, she was like, "Y'all wanted to stop raining?" And we're like, "Yeah, that would be great." And she's like, "Well, just give me 2 matchsticks and some salt." And I was like, okay, so we give her the matchsticks and the salt, and lo and behold, if it didn't stop raining, like 45 minutes later, we're like, oh my God, it worked. And then what happened the next day?
Then it snowed, and we got shut down for 2 days. A once in a decade Louisiana snowstorm, and then she came back a couple days later, and we told her about it. She was like, oh yeah, I bought you that day on credit. But to just to finish answering your question, I mean, the great thing about shooting in the country is everything that you experience as a person is magnified. There's the pressure of history. There's the pressure of being a second, third, fourth generation of a family. There's all this expectation, like everybody knows everybody else's business. There's so many fewer places to hide in every possible sense, and so that's something that I really when you're trying to do things in secret and everything's out in the open, I mean, it's a really fun, interesting, engaging challenge, and kind of emotionally and and mentally.
Well, it showed. Let me open it up to you guys. Any questions for? Yes.
I'm working on a film that's going to be set in a small, very unique rural area. Oh, hi. I'm working on a film that's going to be set in a small, unique rural area. And so I appreciate the way that you utilized the area. And I'm wondering, did you use a lot of drone footage? And also, did you use a Cinesaddle on the car scenes?
No, on the Cinesaddle. It's like an old school horrific hood mount and hostess tray. We had 1 day of drone stuff, and we tried to be really judicious with it, because like that can get really old really quickly. Yeah, I mean, we mostly as transition, just for some car and driving stuff like that. Because we're a fairly small movie, but we wanted to use that just to open up the world of the movie. Yeah, so the sugar cane, is one, obviously is a big factor, but is also very specific to the area. And it was always really important to me that you knew you were in small town Louisiana, not just small town anywhere. And so that's why we tried to use it well, and not just throw it in everybody's face that we had a drone for a day.
It's very judicious, Daniel. Any other questions? Yes, here in the front.
So I know you spoke about being a straight white man and writing this and sort of like turning all of your identities on your head. And I'm curious to hear from Asha, if you're willing to answer. I know he's standing right next to you, but what is it like working on something like this with a director that shares a lot of different identities that's trying to tell a story that they may not know very well.
What I love about Daniel, a couple of things I love about Daniel as a director is he's so open to everyone, talking about, like, we definitely had, producers on set with similar, that were in same-sex relationships. I could be like, we ended up doing the love scene more than once because it didn't really resonate with them. They're like, this isn't like a true lesbian love scene. We don't feel like it, and Daniel listened to that. He wasn't like, no, I know better than you, like he was very open to like hearing everyone's opinion. My partner Jim Clock is actually a real police officer, so if I approached a truck poorly, he'd be like, no, that's not, and we definitely listened to his advice. Like nobody had a sort of like, I'm the, wearing the cap kind of, and that's what made it a really great set to work on. And Daniel was really great about saying like, okay, the last time we saw our heroes, this is what was happening, and he would just kind of keep us all, on the same page, and it really helped. So he was really great about it, and that's why I knew that I could work with him in such a different role from who he is, because he was so open. Yeah.
I mean, I tried to be really honest about like what I knew and what I didn't, and the real challenge that you're making any film is like what's the common humanity under all this, like what's the common experience, and is feeling kind of like feeling like an outsider is a thing I get, like grief is a thing I get, and so it's really trying to find like what is the underlying kind of universal emotionality of it. And that's what I really tried to grab onto. But my mentor, the person who like introduced me to Asha, like my mentor is a gay woman, and so she really was there to keep us honest. And and like for instance, like the love scene, like I was like very reluctant, because of the opportunities for it to be exploitative. But she like really encouraged me and like really pushed me to do that. And then when I talked to Asha and Terry about Terry Weibel is Leslie. They're like, yeah, like when we were on set, like we kind of thought that like we should probably do that, but like we knew you were stressed, we didn't want to say anything, so we're glad you're going back to do it now. So and so it's just it was just accepting being really upfront with the fact that like there's a lot I didn't know, but like the commitment was to try and learn and was try to be open about it.
Any other questions? Let me get somebody who hasn't spoken yet. Yeah, in the back.
So I saw your previous movie, Pariah, Asha, and it's kind of interesting to see like you as an actress, because in Pariah you were like testing out and like exploring the queer universe, and now you're actually acting in it and still outside at the same time because you didn't want to show it to the world. So I thought that was really interesting that in both your movies that you're doing that. And do you find that you relate to these characters deeper as a woman, even though, you might not be fully in the world?
Yeah. My next movie, I'll be like fully out and just like fantastic. No. Yes, I definitely know what it feels like to, fit in and to like follow those social norms. I've been like an African-American student in an all-white school, and I know what it's like to just sort of like, I want to fit in and I want you guys to know that I'm cool, like the ambassador of Black people, like it's okay. And so I think with those characters, they resonate with me because I know that feeling of just, maybe not everyone understanding who you are right away and you having to kind of like slowly expose who you are. And but yeah, they're definitely very interesting to me. I think I do have like a sort of affiliation to those stories. And yeah, it's I can't believe it's been 10 years since Pariah, but yeah, here we are again. So proud of both the films and really happy to explore those kind of experiences.
Great work in Pariah, too.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
I just felt like as a writer, I want to compliment you on the wonderful job you did on your villain, because so many times you want to just make a villain, he's just evil. But in his case, you could really see how each turn of the screw brought him closer and closer to what he did. And when you unravel it at the end, Asha, it was just, it was beautifully done, and I just really want to compliment you on that. I thought it was a brilliant piece of writing.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Guys.
Thank you
Thank
all
you.
so much.
Yeah, thank you for sitting through it, you guys.